Most of us are waiting for that big moment, the breakthrough, the overhaul, the massive change that finally makes us feel whole. But what if it's not about the big stuff at all? What if the real power is in the gentle somatic choices, the tiny cues to your body that ripple out into every part of your life? So, in today's episode of Reflections of the Sacred Self, we're going to be talking about how we can make gentle changes in order to have a big impact. Think of it like this. It's like if you drop a pebble into a pond and that first ripple is so small you might miss it, but it spreads. And the further that you can see it, the bigger it gets. And gentle somatic work works in the same way. So that's what we're working on today and what we're going to talk about. Now, one of the things I found is I used to believe that I was waiting for the answer. It was going to be like, I was going to go on my long retreat and everything was going to be solved, or I was going to do those counseling sessions and get to the end of it and I'd be fixed. And I think that, or I was going to read the next book. This is the one with me, I've read lots and lots of books. Read the next book and that will solve the problem. That will do it because that book will have all the answers. And it's only once you kind of go through them enough and you do enough of the work that you realize that actually there's no one answer. There's no one thing. And actually it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get it. It's not going to just switch and change. But if you read that book and it's got the tips and the hints and you do the little bits every day, or you do your daily somatic practices, you come back to your body whenever you need to. So I'm recording this today, and this morning I woken up and I feel really spacey. It's like I'm not really here. And so I've been working quite a lot. I'm filming this about 2 hours later than I wanted to because I've been sitting here, right? And it sounds a bit crazy, but I've just kind of been sitting here doing not a lot. But I've also been doing practices where I've been grounding into my body, feeling how I'm feeling myself connected to the earth and coming back into myself in order to ground and be more present, because I'm kind of stuck up here in some kind of spacey vibe. And that's part of it, is understanding that, okay, right, this is what I'm going to do today. And because I come back to those practices and do them day after day after day, it makes a slight change. And then it makes a big change. And then all of a sudden you look back and you think, whoa, I've completely changed. And there are so many ways in which you can do that. It can be reflecting on how you're feeling. It can be making that choice every day. So instead of eating that sugary snack, making that choice to have a healthy snack, and just each day making that choice. And maybe the first day you do it for one snack, and the second day you just do it for one snack for a while, and then all of a sudden it becomes two snacks. And then you're only making the healthy choices. And you feel better in yourself and you feel good. And that's happened without you thinking about it. And all of these things, they all make a difference. And I think that we need to remember that it's not about a big breakthrough. It's not about intensity. It's about getting into a new rhythm, getting into rhythm with your body, your sensations, how you feel, and taking that on to be a new person. And remember that your nervous system, it doesn't need a big performance to feel safe. It doesn't need that big thing to feel safe. It needs small, consistent signals, so softening your jaw when you're relaxing, unclenching your hands, pausing for 3 breaths before a meeting. And all of these signal safety to your body. And what they do ultimately is build up internal resilience so that when big stuff happens, you find it much easier to come back to you. So examples of microsomatic acts are maybe a slow exhale before the school run, placing a hand on your chest and whispering, "I'm okay," or just sitting with a cup of tea and sipping mindfully. They can all be somatic practices that help to regulate your nervous system. And just remembering that every gentle act is basically a signal to the vagus nerve. And over time, these signals carve out new neural pathways. And these are pathways of calm, of safety, of connection. And that's building up your resilience. It's building up your tolerance to stress so that you can cope with more than you could before. And you suddenly turn around and you realize, actually, I'm able to cope with a lot. And it's happened gradually over time. And it's not one big breakthrough. It's not one big session. It's not that. And that's, for me, that's not what's changed me. It's not the difference it's made in my life. It's the being aware day in and day out of what's going on for me. So it's also worth mentioning, I still get spikes. I still get tension, irritability, the urge to snap. All of those things happen, right? I'm a human being. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I'm perfect. I've got it all figured out. But the old me would have pushed harder or criticized myself when those things happen. But now I've learned to meet it with gentleness. And that's all part of stepping into these somatic practices and stepping into the new identity of someone who practices softness, practices gentleness, and I practice it with myself as well. So, when I feel these things, I might come back to myself, I might put my hand on my heart and just reflect on, what do I need right now to come back to me? Or just do some deep, slow belly breaths that we interact, where we're getting the diaphragm involved and just really deep into the belly, because it just calms so much. Or just noticing in my body. And I hold a lot of tension in my shoulders, so I know sometimes that I'm sat like that. So just noticing when I feel that, just to relax and ease the tension out of my shoulders. And just knowing, kind of one of the things that's come that I like try and teach myself and remember, and I still have to remind myself on a regular basis, is that gentleness isn't weakness. It's a somatic shift. And it takes you out of fight or flight and back into regulation. So gentleness is what I practice as much as I possibly can. So I want to talk about emotional resilience again and go back to that, because we talked about it a bit before, and I was talking about how we do these practices and it brings resilience. So going into that in a bit more detail, think about this as like we have an emotional bank account. So every time we do a practice, a somatic practice, a nervous system regulation practice, it's like a deposit into your emotional bank account. So that's why I pause every day. It's why I understand what's going on in my body. It's why I look at I've talked in the past about rhythms and times of the month, times of the year, all of these things where I look at what my rhythm is, what my energy level is. Because at times when I've got really great energy, I'm building up that reserve. And when my energy is low, so I've mentioned before that November is a big slump for me. If I carry on with my practices, one, I've built up a reserve already, but two, those little practices help to keep me going. And kind of the crazy thing is that when we regulate ourselves, and this makes a huge difference, when we start to regulate ourselves, we regulate others through our gentle choices. So the people around us feel that regulation. They feed off that regulation. So our kids, our partners, our friends, even people that we meet in the street, in the way we respond to them, it impacts them. And so that gentleness spreads. And so that whole resilience, it doesn't just feed through to me. So like I'm a single mum, the more resilient I become and the more able I am to regulate my nervous system, the easier it is for my son to regulate his nervous system, to come back into balance and to feed off what I can give him. And so that makes a huge impact to his well-being long-term as well. So it's not just your resilience you're working on, it's everybody you know's resilience as well. So gentle somatics don't need to look dramatic. Okay, you don't need to do big, powerful practices. This is not about getting your yoga mat out and spending an hour doing yoga. Very few of us have time for that. It's about small, little practices you can just fit into your day. And they allow the ripple to flow through our nervous system and shape how we feel, how we show up, and how we love, and everything that we do. So you can work it like a simple framework. So you notice what's happening, soften, and then choose a gentle practice. So you're going through that all the time. When stuff comes up for you, just notice it and allow yourself to soften it and choose a practice, something small that's going to support you, that's going to help you. So my question for you is, what is one gentle somatic practice or gentle somatic choice you can make today? So something so small it almost feels silly, but it might ripple onto other things you can imagine. So it might just be something as simple as taking a deep breath. Or if you make, I drink a lot of tea and coffee. And when you're making a tea and a coffee, while you're doing that, it might just be taking a deep breath while you're taking that break. And so you're coming back into your body. So let me know in the comments what you're going to be doing for yourself. And if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe so you get to see all the lovely bits from me as they come through. And if you want to connect more deeply and have some short practices that you can use in your day-to-day life, then come and join my free group on School, the Sacred Pause. I will put the link in the description and I would love to see you on the inside. But until next time, goodbye.